People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
Because you always use that active when defenders, I think, it's like. Because you always use that active when defenders, I think, it's like. Because you always use that active when defenders, I think, it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on.
As the big man Ian Wright just said there, people deluded, I'm back again. Hope everyone's having a great week. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor, smash the like button. Twitch gang, one love. Make sure you're following on Kick as well. Any thoughts, talking points, opinions, questions, feel no sort of way about getting them in. Nick, appreciate you, and I appreciate all the comments you've left on my videos because I do see them, man. P, I appreciate that. Kudos back to you as well. Once Timber is in, next signings will be dependent on outgoings. You'd imagine so, but I think what we need to know, except with Arsenal, is we don't know what we're doing in terms of ingoings and outgoings. You are right, though. You'd imagine that, you know, with the signing of Declan Rice, the outlay, the wages, all of that stuff. The same with Kai Havertz, obviously XHAKA, Ramsdale, Martin Odegaard, Benjamin White, Martinelli, Saliba, all of them names I just said there have either signed new deals or in the process of signing new deals. Timber's going to come in on decent wages. You know, he's not going to be the highest of earners, but he's going to come in on decent wages. You know, Partey, Granit Xhaka, Pepe, all been linked with moves away. I'm not sure what Xhaka's on, admittedly, but you'd imagine he's on handsome wages. Definitely Pepe's on like 140k. Partey's not on nothing small either. So we have to probably look after our resources, really. And we just need to get outgoings. You know, some players, I believe, you know, if I'm honest, you know, the Ballagans of this world, the Smith Rowes, the Tierney's, obviously Smith Rowe has come out that the man's going to stay. Obviously, I would kind of group them kind of players in that. I don't think the club are actively trying to push them out, but everybody's got a price. If you're presented with offers, Xhaka and Partey, I'd extend that to you as well. If you're presented with offers you can't reject, or you think are too good to turn down, you've got a decision to make. The Tavareses, the Pepes, the Lokongas, the Cedrics, you know, these kind of players of this world are probably going to go. And we've seen, you know, we've got an extra 2 million from the Leno deal because Fulham have stayed in the division. Obviously, 6 million for Pablo Marie. You've seen a couple of under-21 players leave. You'd imagine Charlie Patino is going to depart. Balogun, we've seen everything from 30 to 50 million, and he's been linked with a whole host of clubs. Everybody's linked with everyone, you know, being interested in a player and putting down an offer and then leaving Arsenal a decision to make whether to sell or to keep is another thing. And we got to remember, although it's not exactly early in the transfer market, I think it's been open for 2 days. We're just about entering July. We've still got 2 months or so of this. Is the calm before the storm. And a lot of players at a lot of clubs, I'm sure the managers will have conversations about them. I'm sure a couple of their agents will be in their ears assessing moves. Some players that might not be available today might be set on a move tomorrow and vice versa. So you just never really know, really and truly. So yeah, smash the like button, etc. Sorry about that, just fixing the mic. Interesting to hear Arteta's comments on Havertz yesterday, referred to him as a midfielder. That's music to my ears, really, and we'll go over that in a sec. Keep your thoughts coming. It's good to see progress in the transfer market strengthen and depth is slowly on the rise, and players actually want to come to the Emirates. Amen. And depth, you know, again, you've got a wealth of options defensively. You know, whether you rate the players or not is another thing. But on paper, you've got Tomiyasu who can play across the back four, you know, right back, left back, centre half. You've got Kirill, who's shown he can play left back as well as obviously as a centre half as well. You've got Benjamin White and potentially Timber. You know, you want to see Declan Rice in midfield, but if push comes to shove, that's another option at centre half. Saliba and Gabriel, we've got a wealth of options, really. You get another one, you know, he probably will stay at the club because I always forget he's here, respectfully to Rob Holding. Another one that needs to be moved on, really. So, yeah, for me, if as a minimum, if we can address our midfield, if we can just assess our defensive options, which the signing of Timber is one, Declan Rice a step in the right direction. Havertz been referred to, as Jay said, a midfielder. So I'd imagine the new look Arsenal midfield will consist of, you know, Martin Odegaard, potentially Havertz in the 8 and Declan Rice. And we need a wealth of options, you know, different games, different dynamics. If we're playing teams or oppositions where we were going to have the majority of the ball, then, you know, you could probably find a way of getting Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Havertz, all of the ballers on the pitch. Sometimes where we need a bit of tenacity, obviously, you've got Martin Odegaard, who does lead the press with Jesus, and you've got the two physical men on paper, provided he doesn't leave, in Declan Rice and potentially Partey. Arsenal finally moving like a big club. It's nice to see there's a lot of work to be done, regardless of signings. The training pitches where things need to be done. What has that said? Thanks, Havertz, for Porto. Thanks, Arteta, for 76 million, whatever that means. Big up DG, always on the ground. You got to, man. Good times ahead of the Gunners. I don't know about good times. It's a step in the right direction. We need to seize this opportunity, really. You know, again, beating Manchester City on the best of days is a tough order. But where you look at Man United, we're ahead of our rebuild. We're definitely ahead of Chelsea of our rebuild. We're definitely ahead of Spurs of their rebuild. You know, Liverpool still have quality players, but they're getting things going. So if we can take advantage of this, and obviously consistently get top 4, try and win a trophy, or be there to pounce if and when, and a big if City drop off their standards. Because for me, I want to be ready if and when the time comes that Pep Guardiola, smash the like button if you're on YouTube, departs the club. Manchester City are Manchester City. They'll still be up there doing what they're doing, regardless of what, you know, when Pep leaves. You know, I think they'll consult him on the next manager. Who knows? They might spin the block on Mikel Arteta. But I don't think it's going to quite be the dominance that Pep Guardiola has, really, if I'm honest with you. I think it will be kind of open season. And I'm sure whether you support Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, and all the rest of it, Newcastle even, I'm not going to say Spurs, they're not on nothing. You want to be ready to pounce. Big up S. Yes, big man. We're moving in the right direction. Love that we're getting our business done early. Timber and maybe a cheeky bid for Zaha. Well done, Kroenkes, Edu and Cole, for backing the manager. Amen. I appreciate that. S, I think you've got to give up on the Zaha thing, my guy. I think that boat's gone, really. So, yeah. It'd be nice to get the players in early doors. You saw what that done for Zinchenko and Jesus. Blood them in early, get to know your team and whatnot. Keep forgetting we've got the Smith. But hey, you know, I'm not going to lie. To a degree, I think Smith Rowe and Fabio Vieira are playing for their futures next season. I'm going to say more so Fabio Vieira, because I'm Smith Rowe FC to the end, really and truly. But there's competition and we're getting the ballers back, you know, multifunctional players. You know, if I just say some names, Odegaard, Fabio Vieira, Havertz, they can all play different roles. Smith Rowe, but they can all play in the middle of the park. There's competition all around the pitch. If you're a centre half, if you're a fullback, if you're in midfield now, definitely if you're up front, you know, if you're not doing your job, you might not play. And you know, you need that, really and truly. When you look at Liverpool historically and you look at Manchester City, there's a core group of players that play week in, week out. You know, really, in their case, City with Haaland at this moment in time. Historically, you know, you see a Kevin, a Gundogan, a Bernardo Silva. One of them are really playing out of their skin, really. Fabio Vieira's dog wanky's not an option. Hey, man, give the guy a chance. I like what I see from Fabio. I think you got a good technical level, but I think I need to see you assert yourself next season when you get the opportunities. And I think you need to take your opportunities, because I remember last season, Arteta, I can't remember what the journalist's name is or what he exactly asked him, but he asked him something along the lines of, like, because them times there we had a stable 11. He's like, which player is giving you headaches to get in the team? He said Fabio Vieira. And I don't think Fabio Vieira took his opportunities. I look at the Bournemouth game at home, which was crazy. XHAKA weren't there. He was playing in the 8. Or in fact, XHAKA might have even come on. You saw, you know, last season, you saw when Zinchenko weren't there, when XHAKA weren't there, when Partey weren't there, and so on and so forth, what we're missing. And I don't think he took his chance. I'll give Fabio Vieira an opportunity next season because I like his technical level. I think there is a lot to like about him. Reality is he plays in a position in an Arsenal team that there's hella competition. The man said, I'll play anywhere. And you've seen him play right wing. You've seen him play in the 10. You've seen him play in the 8. He said 10's where he's at home. You've got Smith Rowe, Havertz to fight for, Odegaard as well to fight for that. If you're going to play in the 8, you've got midfielders on paper. XHAKA is still here. Partey is still here. Declan Rice is still here, etc. In terms of Havertz is here now, in terms of legitimate options. I think he needs to eat a lot of food. I think forget all them fancy Lucozades and fluids they give you. I think you need to eat some food and go gym and start deadlifting and bench pressing and things. And obviously he's moved to a new country. He wasn't fit, so he was always playing catch up. But you know, I do think if we're sitting here saying the same things, for me anyways, about Fabio Vieira, I'm a big fan of Tomiyasu as well. If we're saying the same things about Tomiyasu, then I think this time next year, I think we've got to cut them loose, really. Don't Brad Smith throw this season. He's doing Mazes. Amen. Squad depth crazy up front, really. And I think next summer we'll sign another midfielder, if I'm honest, or maybe not, excluding what we're going to do now, because you'd imagine Jorginho and El Nene, they're gone. Partey, maybe that's his last season, or maybe he's gone. I'd imagine another centre mid arrives. Hopefully the existing midfield options, you know, as I said, the hybrids, the Fabios, the Odegaards, the Smith Rowes, the Havertz, they can show Arteta that they can do their thing, and we can get some pure options in there. You know, I'd love for Lokonga to finally look like Yaya Toure. We'd have a decent player. But yeah, man, as I've said, I'm quite happy with how we're manoeuvring as a football club. Smash the like button, because, you know, if you was to ask me every position I want a centre half. I would like someone who can fill in at right back. Cool. I would have liked an organic fullback and someone like Timber, who's a centre back able to play right back. But cool, I can deal with that. He can cover both roles. Tierney goes, I want a left back. Evidently, you know, I've kind of just alluded on centre half. I would love a more physical striker, maybe someone that's born to score goals, or someone that can hold the ball up and give us a different dimension. I think we'd all, if we could, like another winger, you know, to give Saka competition and rest ahead of him. But if we weren't to address any other areas, for me, it needed to be the middle of the park, which Declan Rice is a step in the right direction. Still think we need another one. And I'd extend that to Havertz. Once again, as somebody said, Arteta keeps referring to him as a midfielder, and defensive options, because although I think Mikel Arteta's system is getting stronger, we play good football, you know, there's consistency, etc. And I think there's strong foundations. Can I really sit here, and I have to question my own logic, can I really sit here and say the foundations are strong if, you know, last season we saw when one player isn't there, or there were times we got on with it, but if certain players weren't there, the system just weren't functioning. You know, at times we missed Partey not being there. At times you didn't see the same Thomas Partey if XHAKA weren't there. When XHAKA weren't there, you saw a void. As much as I love Zinchenko in this left back role, if we're crying about our left back not being there and our inability to progress from defense to midfield to attack, what are we saying there? We did kind of miss Jesus at times, but let's be fair. I think Eddie Nketiah did his job really. So it all depends where you look, how you look at that, really. So we've got a good foundation, but we need to go up the levels, and we earned the right. You know, I don't think the table lies. I'm not criticizing my team. We finished second. We earned that. You know, I don't think the table lies, but I don't think it always tells the full truth. And I don't think we're at that level that people might accept. You know, next season there's an expectation. We still have several things to improve. I'm not saying that to be, you know, to just preach misery, but what's the point? You know, again, defensively, we can improve 10 times. The errors have been there. I've always said, I think Saliba stays fit. We probably do better last season, but there's teams below us that would have suffered injuries at centre half or wherever and got on with it. I think Saliba's injury just highlighted our issues. You know, we're a youngish team. There's still a lot of individual mistakes. We're still susceptible in the transition. We still need to improve our game management. You know, set pieces and dead ball scenarios haven't always been the best. I am not, and this was shown before we kind of fell off towards the end of the season. Obviously, a couple of games this season are going to be crazy. They're going to be filled with, you know, just madness, you know. But when you look at the Bournemouth game at home, when you look at Aston Villa away, when you look at Man United at home, these were crazy games, you know, shows what football's about. Bournemouth away as well, which was one-way traffic, and we just allowed them. And there were several times that we did our jobs, but we conceded cheap goals. When you can see that in them games, I'm kind of not surprised with failure to hold on to the leads against West Ham and Liverpool, or psychologically how we looked against Southampton, really. You know, if you want to pip this City team, unfortunately, you know, you're playing for margins. If you can't go toe-to-toe with City, which unfortunately in the league we lost twice, well, we lost the 3 times we played them, you kind of need to be perfect in all the other games, and we weren't that in it. It's to fight City. You can't be good, you have to be great, sort of thing. And unfortunately, last season, in previous years, might have been enough to win the league. You're playing a different beast in Pep Guardiola's men, unfortunately. So we need to take the good and make it great. We need to improve the evident areas of improvement. Again, you've heard me give examples in relation to the Premier League and naiveties in the Premier League. What do you think is going to happen in the Champs? It's a different ball game. And ultimately, you know, again, Mikel Arteta, I love you. I like what you're doing at this football club. But since we've won the FA Cup, I haven't been happy with our performance and such. And obviously, since you've walked into the club, to be fair, we've been a joke in Europe, really. Obviously, we lost on penalties to Sporting Lisbon. Once again, we didn't do the jobs in both legs. The same could be said for Olympiacos, and the same could be said for Villarreal. So everybody's got something they can improve at, really. If Partey is not sold, I don't know what that means there. I can't understand that, but I hear that, man. Agreed. I think we played out of our skins last season. We need to reach the point where out of our skin is our second or third. Exactly. It needs to become the minimum. And for me, there'll be a time where I can legitimately puff out my chest. I believe in my team. I love what we're doing. There'll be a time where I can legitimately puff out my chest and say, Arsenal are going to do this and that. I like the direction we're going in. I don't think we've reached that destination yet, really, if I'm completely honest. And I want Arsenal to be mentioned as one of the best defensive sides in the league. When we do that, I'll be a lot more comfortable in winning certain things. You know, we've improved defensively. You look at last season compared to seasons prior. Of course we have. If we now look at Arsenal of last season and look at now judging them on title contenders, we need to go up several levels, because the season that's just gone and the season before that, for as much as I'm praising our improved game management and defensively and all of that jazz, there isn't too much difference with clean sheets. That same period, the season before the one that's just gone, we scored, 60-odd goals in the Prem? We now got 80-odd this year. So there's always something we can improve at. Yo, DG, would you cry if Saka scores the Champions League winner? Probably. The Sporting game, we was up and 2 injuries cost us the game. Can't really put that on Arteta. I think that's a naive way, because I think across both legs, we did not do enough. We didn't do enough. You know, Arteta kind of, you know, again, I can't remember exactly, but I think he kind of went, I wanted him to be a bit more, play the stronger players defensively away from home, and then obviously you can do what you're doing at home. You know, if I can praise Arteta when we win, I can praise him when we lose. There's, you know, you can't just absolve the manager of all criticisms, really and truly. It's a two-legged tie, and like, once again, it follows the same logic that saw us go out against Villarreal, really and truly. Injuries didn't cost us. It highlights the injuries. Injuries highlight the lack of things. I can't feel sorry for Mikel Arteta with injuries. It happens. If you're a chef and you cut your finger, what? I'm meant to feel sorry for you. You pick the job. Same way, if we won that two-legged tie, I'd have nothing but praise. Of course, I could pull it on him. Well, it weren't a freak goal, because again, if you look at it, we're not following runners. We're switching off defensively, and ironically, that was another game where we switched off defensively from set pieces. Sporting Lisbon away, something that cost us in the victory against Man United. These are the things. Honestly, if you've been watching Arsenal all season, what led to our demise, it's been there all year. You know, there's not a bigger fan of Arsenal Football Club of Mikel Arteta than me. I promise you that. But that doesn't mean I'm just going to blindly, you know, advocate anything. And it's not a criticism, it's a fact. If Arteta was Pep Guardiola, with the greatest of respect, I couldn't say anything. Last time I checked, not a single player at this football club has won a major trophy. Yeah, you might have won a Prem somewhere or a Champions League here or whatever. No one's the finished article. Nobody's achieved greatness. Nobody's going down as an Arsenal legend. Until we see that, let's keep it moving. And Arteta showed me you can improve us defensively, because the building blocks are there. There's little bits and pieces of an improved game management, as stated, but it's not good. It's not good enough at this moment in time, really. Will Rice be the biggest here we go tweet in the club's history? I don't even know if Twitter was around when we signed Mesut Ozil, but potentially. You know, hopefully Declan Rice gets done. I'm not, you know, obviously it looks like we're moving in that direction. And again, we'll get into that in a second, people. But until it's signed on the dotted line, I don't know. DG, rival fans are burning about our moves in the transfer window. They're saying Rice is bang average when Rice has dominated other DMs like Casemiro and even Partey. Moondust, I hear you. And obviously, you know, Arsenal, I do think there's one rule for Arsenal and next rules for others, especially with the way the media reports about certain things. You know, Manchester City were not accused of lowballing Declan Rice with their first offer versus when we did. There's all of that. But I would say, pardon my language, why do Arsenal fans and even Arsenal content creators, why do we give a flying fuck what people think about us? They don't like us. They're not meant to like us. It's a siege mentality. Forget them. It seems like a lot of Arsenal fans, especially when you got platforms like Talkshite and all of these things, they sit there and say, oh, you know, it sounds like a little kid. Like if I have a sibling and I get in trouble when he doesn't, and I go, oh, but he hasn't done it. Forget all of that. They don't like us. They never like us. Who cares? Who cares? They never rated us. They don't want to rate us. You know, they said they couldn't see a project and there was a power shift. They were the first to write all these fancy blogs about praising Mikel Arteta and the players. Then a complete, you know, turn of events. They were quick to say we crumbled. They don't like us. Forget that. Forget what rival fans have to say. We'd be doing the same thing. Let them have sour grapes. If they think Declan Rice is bang average, great. Maybe he will be. It's just down to Declan Rice to do his football, really. You know, if Mikel Arteta cared about all opinions, Declan Rice probably wouldn't be here. Benjamin White wouldn't be here. Aaron Ramsdale wouldn't be here. Shit, maybe Arteta wouldn't even have been the manager, really and truly. DG, do you think Rice will end up with the armband at some stage? Maybe if Odegaard leaves or something happens, yeah, but you need captains. Again, if you look at City, there's captains. You've got Kevin, you've got Gundogan, you've got, you know, Ruben Diaz, very vocal. You've got Stones, you've got Walker. The captain's armband should highlight. I shouldn't be able to look at my team and know he's the captain. You know, obviously, I'm 28. When we won the league, I couldn't tell you out of Bergkamp, Vieira, you know, Bergkamp, Vieira, Omri, all of the Tony Adams, all of these guys historically at Arsenal Football Club, you know, when they're playing, everyone should look like a captain. And if I'm honest with you, Declan Rice, having been a captain at West Ham, wealth of experience, Havertz, whatever I think about you, you've been on the German scene. You obviously played for Chelsea Football Club or played for Chelsea Football Club. Martin Odegaard, who went through a wealth of experience at his young age before signing for this football club. Ramsdale, who's been in relegation fights and the high demanding environments that brings. I expect you to all be captains in your own way, really and truly. Jesus and Zinchenko, it goes without saying, really. They should all be captains. I shouldn't know who my captain is. Everyone should stand up to be counted. Really, if I'm completely honest with you. Does Havertz remind you of Ozil? No. But hopefully we can revisit that. Unfortunate for Fabio to miss the Euro under 21s. Yeah, man, because like Smith Rowe, with playing for England, you could have used this as somewhat your mini pre-season before Arsenal and get some confidence, get some fitness and whatnot. Give Fabio a full pre-season, be patient. I'm patient for all of them, you know. But the way the club's going, you know, it's get right or get left. The train is going even faster now. Lavia and a striker will keep Balogun along with Eddie for competition. We'll do some bits next season. Cut Fabio loose. He's the worst player we've had since Luca Perez. Who's that? Who are you referring to? We need a striker and Lavia. If you had an option between a right winger or a tall, mobile centre forward, what would you go for? The centre forward, personally. Man said Smith Rowe. He could, but Jesus, go and do the wide stuff. Let them be jealous. Who, like, honestly, like, I think some Arsenal fans are too obsessed with what other people have to say and the fact of the media doesn't play it fair. Forget them. It's not fair. It isn't fair. But as George Graham said, we're supposed to be disliked. We're Arsenal Football Club. You know, we came over from South London and batted certain neighbours up. Who cares? Forget them. Yo, DG, my guy, crushing the output. Proud of you, young man. Appreciate that. I haven't been this excited about a transfer since Ozil. Alexis Sanchez, I would say. You know, what Emirates era, what signings? I'm excited about Rice. Like, I am excited about Rice. I'm trying to think. I was excited about Santi Cazorla. I was excited about Arshavin. I was gassed with Mesut Ozil. I did not believe we was going to get Alexis Sanchez. Happy when Thierry Henry returned, but that's a cheat code. I'm definitely missing out someone. Mesut Ozil. I mean, Martin Odegaard. You can go back on YouTube and check. I told you, like, that man's a baller. People have forgotten about Saliba's contract. I've already seen that. I really don't think Jesus deserved to displace Trossard at the back end of next season. He was poor, frankly. The whole team fell off. And for me, I don't really, but I'm not, unpopular opinion, I'm not really convinced with Trossard as a false nine. Don't get twisted. There's certain games you can run it, you can do that, but I'm not really convinced with it. Shout out the Bulgarians, man. Appreciate that. I think getting rid of Partey will create another issue. Having him, Rice, and Odegaard in midfield would create fear through the league. I only think, you know, out of one of XHAKA and Partey should be allowed to leave, if I'm honest with you. I like Lavia, but we've got to remember, as good as he is, or may not be, he's only played one Premier League season. Barely that with Southampton at this moment in time. So there's a lot that he'll be, you know, playing for Arsenal. We're going to see that he's good at. He needs to improve at, and we're going to be in the champs. By all means, bring him in, give him game time, groom him into that role, etc., etc. But yeah, Tchouameni, we've been linked with him. We get to 100 likes, we'll get into all of that stuff, people. I don't buy it, but it is what it is. Injuries are part and parcel of the game. Injuries, loss of form, suspensions. Bro, man, can't feel sorry for that. There's so many things I feel sorry for Mikel Arteta in general. Injuries are not one of them. Especially if we want to be a team that is competing in multiple competitions, getting through to the latter stages. We know how the cookie crumbles, really and truly. I can't have sympathy for it. I'm so sorry. I really can't. And that goes not just for Mikel Arteta, but every manager in this division. Unless it's a thing where out your 20, 25-man squad, 10 players are out, 11 players are out, madness is happening, then yeah, cool. These are unforeseen circumstances. Because there was even times last season we got on with injuries. DG, what's your thoughts on Jesus' performance last season? In my opinion, I think he did well last season. But when he came back from injury, he didn't carry on his form. But next season, I think he'll do well. I slightly disagree because it seemed like he found a goal scoring touch kind of when he got back from injury. I've been happy with Jesus. I mean, he's been everything I thought we'd get. The issue is you just haven't. I know you were injured, and strikers miss chances, but I just don't know if you're going to get 20 plus league goals as a minimum. That was the whole reason for signing Jesus, in that all the Gabby Jesus stuff he does, dropping deep, working hard, you know, Brazilians. But the goals, bro, the goals, you know, we got 80 odd goals last season. Jesus got about 11, 12 in the league. If you could get towards 20, if Odegaard and Martinelli can continue to get 15 plus, if Saka in the last 2 years keeps doing what he's doing, if Smith Rowe, when he gets opportunities, can keep doing what he's doing, whether it's Smith Rowe, Havertz, or someone else, whoever is going to replace XHAKA turned into something of a goal scoring midfielder last season. Honestly, I don't know how many Premier League goals he got. Let's just say 7, 8, 9, whatever. That needs to be replaced, really. Or that needs, better yet, that needs to be replicated. We've got enough to not complain about injuries. It's down to his in-game management and rotation. Tchouameni would be a marquee signing, but I think Real Madrid would be crazy to let him go. Probably should have bought him when he was at Bordeaux before the Monaco move. He's going to, again, I don't know how much money we've got, but 105 million on Declan Rice, 65 odd million on Havertz, rising fees. Smash the like button, people. Obviously, 50, anything from 40 to 50 on Timber. There might be more money in the kitty, and who knows, but I just can't see it. And if I'm Tchouameni, why would you want to leave Real Madrid at this moment in time? Obviously, being a Frenchman, you've probably got ties to Arsenal and whatnot. Just can't see it happening. Would love it. Why not? Got to protect the vibe and focus on your white boy. They don't like us. Like, why do we care? Like, too many Arsenal fans are soft, if I'm completely honest with you. Like, they care too much about what the media thinks and all of this, where the media probably don't even care about you or themselves. They know Arsenal fans give engagement. They know we bring clicks. They know we react to things, and I'm no different, but we need to forget them. Xavi Simons would be lit. I just don't know if we'll get him immediately. And I don't know if Xavi Simons is considering one more season at PSV. I know he's seen Ruud van Nistelrooy go. I know he's obviously seen Noni Madueke and Cody Gakpo get moves. But this is your first kind of standout season in Dutch football, or where you've announced yourself to the footballing world beyond being a talented wonder kid. You've got a Euros to think about with Holland. Could it be worth staying put, showing that you can do it for one more season and then moving on? If Arsenal legitimately want him, bring him to the carpet immediately. My concern is playing Rice, Havertz, and Odegaard in a three-man midfield. Would this be asking too much of Rice defensively? Yeah, I mean, the man's not Jesus, innit? He can't do it all, but Havertz will have to learn how to press. You know, Odegaard's not going to be known for his defensive outlook, but his pressing metrics are promising. But this is why you need different options. Games where it's not really going to be a thing where, you know, I don't think there can be one approach, but games where we're going to have the majority of possession, you could probably be a bit more adventurous and go with Havertz, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, whatever you want to do. Games where we're in the trenches, you're probably going to be reliant on Alavia, on a Declan Rice and Partey and whatnot. So we need different options, really. You know, one thing that obviously Arteta's shown he could tweak things, but we haven't really got them higher sort of tweaking stuff that we're able to do, really. And we need to aspire to be like City, where we can actually play. Seems like they've got, ironically, like a gazillion defensive players. Pep said that's the reason they were able to win the champs. Obviously, you've got Rodri in there. You've got Stones in there. You've got Ake, who's a centre-back by trade. Kanji, the same. You've got Walker there. You've got Diaz, and I'm probably missing out another name. Big up, DG. Who would you choose between Tchouameni and Tchouameni? Easy. Arsenal fans can be mad insecure. It's weird, man. Very emotional. Baited. That's it. Baited too easy. Forget them. If they say we ain't got money, they say this, say that. And I know it's hard. Forget it. You know you support Arsenal. You know what's what. So forget them. Ozu, Aubameyang, Pepe, Laka, Santi, Archivin, Alexis, biggest, I guess. I weren't gassed for Pepe. I tried to warn people. I wasn't gassed for Lacazette either. I tried to warn people as well, but they didn't want to listen. I mean, if you put the money down to Real Madrid, you've got a chance. We've got decent relationship with them with getting Odegaard, but I think they'd be crazy to let him go. And to be fair with you, you know, not Tchouameni's been linked with a move away. Valverde's been linked with Liverpool. Is it anything creditable? I don't know. Or is that off the basis of, you know, Benzema's left. Obviously, Modric and Kroos have signed new deals. Maybe Real Madrid want to recoup some fees to make, you know, to obviously go and buy a player. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of creative journalism. DG, which midfielder would you go for if we can't get Lavia or Zuba or Caicedo? Spin the block for Zubamendi or Thuram, really, if I'm completely honest with you. So yeah, man, really and truly. What else have you lot got? Amazing conversation, people, between you lot. Alexis Sanchez lit up the Emirates. Have in a long time I haven't felt. Ozil was majestic. Ozil was brilliant to watch. As you lot know, I'm a big fan of Mesut Ozil. He was obviously a bit of an enigma. Done some breathtaking things, as did Santi Cazorla. But Alexis Sanchez just had this energy. I don't know how to explain it. I kind of feel the same way about Bukayo Saka and Martinelli, even though they're young and at different stages. With Alexis Sanchez, he was obviously high technical level goal scorer. I think his passing was underrated as well. But you just felt like, I'm exaggerating, but it felt like you could be 4-0 down with Alexis Sanchez and you could still think, because of what he used to do, you think you're in with a chance of getting something out of the game. I don't know what it was. He just had, especially go into the games, like, obviously, Alexis Sanchez, there's many memories, I was at the FA Cup final where he scored that peach of a goal. I've seen him bad up Chelsea, seen him score peaches against United and Liverpool, and many a good game from Alexis Sanchez. And ironically, it might not have been his last season, but when he went as a false nine, that was amazing. But one of the best games for me from Alexis Sanchez a few years ago, Boxing Day, QPR at home, where Giroud got sent off for headbutting Nader Manua. I think actually in that game, Alexis Sanchez missed a penalty and then he went patterned up and went and scored. He was just electrifying, man. Absolutely electrifying. I've been watching Timber season highlights. He's played centre mid, right back, left back, and centre back this season. And his pressing, tackling, and close control looks impressive. But Prem is a different story. But I like him. I'm gassed we are doing 3 transfers simultaneously and they're getting done. Careful, everyone was on to Edu. I would keep Partey, but if he leaves, we have to get Tchouameni or Caicedo. The drop-off had not happened when Trossard was dropped for Jesus. We were still 8-point clear and doing well. Jesus didn't earn it. I agree to disagree, man, really and truly, but fair enough. It's been there and gone. And to be fair, the drop-off was kind of there regardless. And, I've seen people talk about Jesus, Martinelli, Bukayo Saka. Everybody dropped off at the same time. I'm pretty willing to bet, Arteta's strongest team doesn't have Trossard in. There's not been times that, not saying there hasn't been times Trossard can't play his way into it, but if it's not adapting, it's really not adapting. Trossard's a good rotation option. Trossard as a false nine, we're in trouble. He can't hold the ball up, respectfully. You can run it in some games, yeah, but like you saw when he came on against Liverpool, it's a myth. I like Trossard a lot, but it didn't do much. There's a reason. Every manager is going to have players that are going to play regardless. Jesus, rightly or wrongly, is going to play. This is a new golden age for us. I hope that correlates to things on the board. Shout in a circle. That's also me suggesting if he finds form from the first half of the season. Who are you referring to? Arteta also, with his favoritism, has got to stop, needs to be more ruthless in his subs. To be fair with you, I hear that, but every manager's got favorites. And can we really not say the man's not ruthless? Aubameyang and him had a bit of romance clipped. XHAKA could be clipped after, the romance there. Pepe and Ainsley make the nails clipped. Simple. I think Arteta could be better at subs, maybe a bit more proactive with the subs. Bournemouth, it cost us, at home, in my opinion. In fact, certain players he started. Man United away, again, when you don't do things in the transfer market, we're rocking up to a ground we struggle at with Lokonga in midfield. We're setting up for failure. And even that, if you remember, I think it was the second goal Man United scored. We made some changes and conceded straight after. Arteta and the players all have to take pride on that. Gabriel's probably one of our most underrated players in the season, in the sense of everyone gives him his flowers, but I don't think people are as quick to give Gabriel his flowers as they are to give Saliba. Like Saliba is, I love Saliba, but he's praised for doing a lot of basic stuff where Gabriel's condemned for. It's a lot of favoritism. DG, to be honest, we need at least 2 world-class centre-backs to compete with City and Newcastle next year. Newcastle noticed that we started being shaky and lost important points when Saliba got injured. Is Nelson signed a new contract? No news on that either. Has a few days left now till it runs out. We're going to have to wait for official confirmation. I'd imagine so. The Romanos and them kind of guys of this world, seemed upbeat, but who knows really and truly. We'll get into all of that in a second. We at 100 likes yet. If you ain't smashed that, smash that. Twitch gang, one love. I rated Dennis Zachariah. As I've said in the video before, I used to rate him quite highly, and then not even just the Chelsea thing. He just started getting media. His passing ain't really the best. I think we might use Kiri or Tomiyasu as a left back to add more defense on that side. Would prefer Tomiyasu there, if I'm honest. Arda Güler looks a baller. If there's an opportunity to bring him. Golden boy of Turkish football. I think we all want to see a plan B by Arteta. We need machines, physical presence. Gaining Rice is great. Losing XHAKA and Partey would be very bad. Trossard is good rotation, can start some games, but he's not an out-and-out starter. Jesus needs that confidence in front of goal, and if he could do that, maybe our next Alexis Sanchez. I like Jesus, but I do feel strikers are born to score goals, and I don't necessarily think Jesus is someone that, I'm not going to say he's not hungry to score goals. He gets in those areas. You can see him kicking himself when he misses. He said he wants to be a striker, but I don't think you're born to score goals. In that, I think Harry Kane is born to score goals and things like that. I don't think he's born to score goals for all his quality. I don't think they're made, but hopefully next season we see that in it. What do you think of City and Liverpool linked with Gabby Vega? Quality signing, clear to see why he's been linked with Real Madrid, Barca, Liverpool, City, as you said, us previously, actually Man United as well. Next year, Ivan Toney or something. Can't let Partey go no matter what. He's still at his peak. I hear that. If we sell Reece, we need squad depth and a game changer like what he did against Bournemouth for the winger position. I mean, it don't look like he's going to leave. What's going on with Saliba's injury? We'll have to see for pre-season. You'd imagine he's back. Got to big up Charlie. Got to think Partey is off now. Can't see him waiting around to be second in the pecking order. Alexis Sanchez used to grab games by the throat. Explosive, excited, and his finishing was absolutely top class. Gary said it there perfectly. How have Arsenal not taken advantage of the players for sale at Bayern? We could have got Mane, Sane, Gnabry, and Kimmich. We'd love them all, but that's assuming that they're all allowed to go. All those purse-clutching fans whining about City getting Rice like it was some done deal because they're City. Where are you now? I hear that. You know, to be fair, you can't win if you've overpaid for Rice. You've shown no ambition. You can't win, innit? Pardon me. Out of the signings we're making, I'm the most confident about Declan Rice because I think you immediately impact us. I need to see what Arteta is offering with Havertz, and I'm kind of reliant on my manager to show us something. Timber, I think you're a good option, and I think Timber will surprise a few because if I'm Saliba, if I'm Ben White, I'm thinking, oh, you know, what's the manager doing? 22 years of age. I'm in my early to mid-20s as well. I play for my country as well. I'm trying to go Euros as well. I want Timber to come and take someone's shirt. I want the players who are already at this club to not let that happen. You know, I like the family aspect and things, but we're not here to make friends. We're here to win games and ultimately trophies. Go and give Arteta a headache and show why you're the best man for the job. The season before last, people said Martinelli needed to leave. He needed to go on loan. He's shown Arteta why you need to play me. Saliba went on loan the season before last. He's shown Arteta why you need to introduce me into this fold. There was, you know, Fabio Vieira didn't take his chances, but he played his way into that. There was times Trossard, rightly so, played his way into that. I don't think Nelson talks to Saka in any day of the week, but there was legitimate reasons to start Nelson. If you're at this club, I don't care if you came through the academy, bought for X amount of money. If you do not believe that you can start, obviously we know people are squad players, etc. But if you genuinely don't believe you're of a starting standard, you need to tell Mikel Arteta and bust out. We're not here to make friends. If we got friends here, great. Would you go for Caicedo? If there's money to stretch that far, would love it to happen, but looks a myth. Absolute myth. Somebody said before we get into the transfer news, apparently David Ornstein has spoken allegedly. So let's make sure we look at that. And I mean, if Ethan stays at the club, great. If he don't, boy, I'd imagine he's got nowhere to, you know, he's got no reason to leave. You made your debut last year. You're seeing what we're doing with the Halem boys. There's a, you know, City and Chelsea could probably pay you a lot, but the pathways are blocked there. I knew you would snake me, Ethan. You know, I knew you would say. You and MLS, you're going to the top. I knew you would snake me. David Ornstein, shout out to you, man. Oi. Yes. Because I was shook. I thought Chelsea were going to finesse that. I thought City were going to finesse that. But lovely to see that that's been done. So that's important. And to be fair, you have to give credit to Edu and the sub-teams. You know, they've committed several players to new deals. Obviously, they're getting a move on. While, apart from Havertz, we haven't exactly seen, for all the talk of Declan Rice arriving and all this sort of stuff, Timber, hasn't happened yet. It's a step in the right direction. Jesus would be good in a 2 up front. I think if Jesus continues, he might just have to do the winger thing. Hoping for Patino too. I mean, if you're Charlie, Ethan is staying, ain't it? Yeah, it's true. Allegedly. I mean, if you're Charlie, I would love Charlie Patino to stay, a bit like Balogun, but you probably have to. I'm not saying you can't make it here, but you know, you're both probably dramatically better players than you were 12 months last year, right? You probably need to remove your emotion from it, at least the situation. For Balogun, he's played what, 20, maybe 30 times, I don't know, something, 20, let's just say 20 plus games. Are you going to get that at Arsenal? I'm not talking about showing Arteta what you can do and all of this sort of stuff. Are you going to get 20 odd games? If not, you've got a decision to make. For Charlie Patino, you're seeing 100 odd million Declan Rice rolling. On paper, Xhaka and Partey are still there. You've still got Jorginho and El Nene, where, let's face it, if backs are against the wall trying to get 3 points, they will play ahead of you. Martin Odegaard, Havertz, Smith Rowe, all ahead of you. And probably a next midfielder I've missed out. It's a myth. And you still hear talk of Arsenal trying to bring in more midfielders. There you have it, really and truly. I don't think there clearer pathway. I don't really think there's a clearer pathway. If you're a 30 striker, I don't think there really is a clear pathway, to be fair. And this is a byproduct. The better we get as a club, in theory, there's going to be less chances for young players. Let's be honest. Saka, I think Saka's an exception to the rule. I think Saka, like Phil Foden, not comparing them. Every now and again, your academy bloods through. The madman at United, we won't say his name. Every now and again, there's a player that just comes through where I think some people try to be footballers. Some people say God says some people are going to be footballers, which Saka is one of them. You know, Saka's just gone like that. He's an exception to the rule, in my opinion, if I'm completely honest with you. But one thing that Saka, Smith Rowe, to a degree, Nelson, Eddie, and Joe, who were on the scene before and benefited with for years and years and years and years of, unfortunately, Arsenal making the wrong decision, we found ourselves having to strip everything all the way back. To which, yeah, it's romantic. Number 7 and number 10, Martinelli doing his thing as well. I know he's from Brazil, but he's one of our own. We had to strip it back. Now, if we're trying to be competitive, we can't exactly do that. You know, you can't really win with young players because, you know, the manager's first job is to protect his own, get 3 points. And fans want everybody to play. They want them to play the same lineup, but rotate everyone. They want all the young players to get opportunity. It don't work like that, really. So as much as I don't want these young players to go, if you could sell them, sell on clause, get decent money and potentially buy back clauses, it is what it is. People forget that, you know, as much as players need to come through the academy for all Premier League teams, just having one player in the first team is amazing. You know, I don't think, yeah, Foden's amazing, but you look at Foden and Rico Lewis based on what City have done. It's amazing that they've broke through, and any other clubs really, you know, Trent and all of these guys. We live in the Premier League where money is the solution, you know, and even that, if you're a right back coming through an academy and somebody and someone also brings in a right back to your club and he costs 30 million, the 30 million man, it's not always right and it shouldn't always happen, but he might play ahead of you because they've got to justify that. It's almost impossible. And this is why I'd say for young players, you've got to be selfish. Staying at a club isn't necessarily the wrong or right thing. Leaving isn't the wrong or right thing. But you've got to do what you feel in your heart can make you a dramatically better player. People can banter Jadon Sancho. Had he have not left your City, sorry, would he be here? Balogun, if you sat around the first team, where would you be? You know, even Eddie and Ketty, you've got a decision to make sooner rather than later. On the face of it, new contract, rotation option, yeah. But in your heart, you know you want to play more first team football. How much do you think realistically we can get from player sales? Honestly, smash the like button. Not a clue, because it's not what players are worth. It's not what they could. It's what you can hustle. Balogun, you need to get at least 35 plus million. I'd love it to go to 40, 50. Pepe, you're just hoping to free up the wages, innit? I don't know if that would be the best business Edu could do if he's able to get a transfer fee and Pepe's wages in full off the wage bill. So I don't know if we'll terminate Pepe's contract, something Edu said they're prepared to do again, go out on loan. The loan club take on some of his wages and give us a loan fee, and we put up with that for a year. Obviously, in an ideal scenario, he's gone permanently. Hopefully, you know, Saudi Arabia are buying players. Get all the Pepe highlights up and send them clips to all them Middle Eastern clubs, really. Lokonga, you're hoping that you could palm him off, really. Maybe the clubs still have some sort of hope. You'd imagine he goes on loan. Tavares, we signed for 8 million. Minimum, you should be able to double that. You know, Austin Trust, he had a good loan spot at Birmingham. You get a couple million for that. Patino, couple million for that. Couple of young players will probably bring in a couple thousands and things like that. Hopefully, Cedric can be taken off the wage bill. You know, you're hearing you're going to get about 15 million euros for Granit Xhaka if he completes that Leverkusen move. Partey, we're not going to get our 45 million pound back, and I'd like to keep him actually. Holding, I mean, it's all a profit on the 2 million, but maybe 10 million quid. Don't know, if I'm honest with you. Lovely talking points, man. 300 in the room, only 5 likes. That's harsh if we only got 5 likes. I think it's extremely wrong there. We should be able to sell Pepe for 35 million at most. Come on, realistically, we will not get 35 million for Pepe. I want to be wrong. I really do. You're not getting 35 million for Pepe. And I know there's other exceptions. He's got a year left on his contract. Shown patches of brilliance at Arsenal. Hasn't pulled up any trees. Hasn't really done that at Nice. Arteta's made it clear that this man's day is numbered. You're not getting no 35 million plus teams paying his 100 odd million pounds a week wages, 100 odd thousand a week wages plus. You're not getting no 35 million for Pepe. I want to be wrong. I think he's got the ability to go for 35 million, but the dynamics at play suggest, bro, we're not getting no 35 million for him. We're not getting nothing like that for him. For us to compete, we need depth, which means we have to keep XHAKA, PARTEY. Losing them will mean we won't go beyond what we did this season. I hear that. 7 million for Pablo Marie, plus obviously the loan fee. I think Lokonga going on loan to Burnley with an option to buy at the end of the season. You know what? The fucked thing is, pardon my French, people, smash the like button. I don't believe in Lokonga, but I still think I don't know what, I think there's a player in there. I definitely don't think there's Yaya Toure, so I wouldn't be against him going on loan, really. But at times, not every player you should pull the trigger on early and get rid of them. But at the same time, not every player that you persist with is going to show some quality. And we need to know when signings haven't worked out. In the case of Tavares, Lokonga, I love Tomiyasu. And Tomiyasu is more so the injuries. If we're saying the same things next year, maybe we need to cut that loose. If we're saying the same things about Fabio Vieira, because now you've seen a couple of players that can play in roles that Fabio Vieira's been signed to play, maybe we cut them losses there. So we'll have to see. But with that being said, let's see exactly what the transfer news is saying. A promise is a promise. I said we get to 100 likes, we do that. Whether you're on Twitch or YouTube, thank you very much for being here, your talking points, etc. It's been the worst kept secret. You got to rate Arsenal's admin team. It got leaked and all these things. They showed no urgency to thingy. Announce Kai Havertz's contract, and I don't know if it's still there, but the Twitter bio on Arsenal, they've got the emote that shows rice. You can see why. Kai Havertz joins on a long-term contract. Germany international Kai Havertz has joined Arsenal from Chelsea on a long-term contract. The 24-year-old has been a key player at both club and international level in recent seasons and has already made 35 appearances for the German national team to his name. I can't lie, I thought he had a lot more, scoring 13 goals and playing at 2 tournaments. We all know he broke some records at Leverkusen, etc. He's joined us. Specifically, let's see what Edu and Arteta have said. Big up Kai Havertz. We're excited to bring Kai to the club and great work by everyone to get this deal done. Kai is an exciting addition to our squad who will bring great attacking quality and versatility. As an experienced 24-year-old, his signing represents another important step in strengthening our young core of talented players we have at Arsenal. We look forward to working with Kai. Versatility is the word I got there. Attacking quality and versatility from Edu. Let's see what Mikel Arteta said. Bearing in mind, Arteta and Edu were midfielders. So let's mold our very own Kai Havertz now into something. Kai is a player of top quality. He has great versatility. Second time versatility has been used. Is an intelligent player. He'll bring a huge amount of extra strength to our midfield and variety to our play. Now we know he can play as a false 9. Does that tell you Mikel Arteta is saying, yeah, if I need you to play out wide or as a false 9, you could do that, but you're a midfielder. You might be that XHAKA sort of role. I'm not too sure, really, but reading between the lines, maybe we'll have to see in pre-season and in the season to come how he'll be utilised. And not just him. You've got Kai Havertz, Odegaard, several players, Smith Rowe, that can play a bunch of different roles. There might even be a reality one day you see Zinchenko in midfield, even though I don't think that. So, yeah, big up Mikel Arteta. We welcome Kai and his family to Arsenal Football Club, and we're all excited to start working with him when we start pre-season training soon. He said himself, it's super exciting for me to be joining this amazing club and to be part of the Arsenal family. This club has such a big history, and I hope we can achieve a lot of things. The mentality in the Arsenal squad is very high, and you can feel that. That was one of the reasons why it's been so hard to play against Arsenal recently. The aim is to win trophies, and I'm going to give everything to do that for the supporters and everyone at the club. I'm now looking forward to meeting all the players and staff when we come back for pre-season. He will wear the number 29, and we do have a family mentality. And once again, I don't want to keep beating the same drum. While we've got a family mentality, we're not here to make friends or cousins. We're here to start football matches and ultimately win trophies, take someone's spot. Whether that's Odegaard's, whether that's XHAKA's, if he's still here, take someone's spot. And to the players that I'm telling to for him to take their spot, don't let it be you that misses out. Give Arteta headaches. Make Arteta wish that he could play 12 players. When his wife is trying to do the birds and the bees, make Arteta stay up all night thinking about, I got to play Smith Rowe, I got to play Havertz, Odegaard, Jesus, Nelson, Saka, Timber, Ben, this, that, and the third people. So, yeah, welcome to the football club. Arsenal are confident of clearing final Declan Rice transfer hurdle to seal a £105 million deal. Who's that? James Maddison signed for Spurs. You're not good. media guy. There's a reason you signed for them, man. You have to get agendas for life now. The Gunners are working with West Ham to reach a compromise over the remaining issues with the payment structure. Arsenal are today working to finalise their £105 million move for Declan Rice. The Gunners have agreed a fee with West Ham for the midfielder, which is an initial 100 million plus 5 million add-ons, but the club are still ironing out the finer details of the deal and how the initial 100 million will be paid. West Ham want it to be paid within the first 2 years, while Arsenal want to spread the cost out over 4 years. There's confidence that a compromise can be reached and Arsenal have a clear run at Rice. Obviously, after allegedly City pulled out of the race, personal terms are not expected to be an issue, and his signing will continue a £200 million spending spree at Arsenal, who on Wednesday night completed the signing of Kai Havertz. We're also working on a deal for Timber. We hope to seal a deal worth around 40 million for Timber early next month. Rice is currently on holiday and, as you know, would need to have a medical. He has 2 years left on his deal, 1 year with an option of another, and he will be a record-breaking British transfer record for British players, really. So yeah, step in the right direction. Romano has said it's not quite here we go yet, but it's only a matter of hours. The only thing to be sorted is the payment terms. So it's all about this detail and then it'll be done. It shouldn't be much longer before it's all wrapped up. Big up Fabrizio Romano. He said, I understand Arsenal are now increasingly likely to keep 2007. That's when I started secondary school. Born Gem Ethan Noeri at the club. New deal almost agreed despite top clubs' interest. Club sources confirmed plan to get it done. Talks advancing and progressing well, waiting to have it signed. He's been wanted by all of the top teams in the Prem, rightly so. Quality player, 16 years of age. Let's take our time with him. Let him develop. Slow cook him. I genuinely believe him and MLS Miles, by the time they're 18, they'll be in the first team. And I'm not saying they'll be playing week in, week out and things. I genuinely think we have 2 Premier League standard quality players. And I really have high hopes for Koza Dewberry. But as we know, it's not always like that. They've got to work. None of them are ready right now. Keep working hard. And I look forward to seeing Ethan and Miles as first-year scholars. So, yeah, big up to them. Happy that he is staying at the club, man. I mean, I don't know where he ends up long-term. I've seen him play everywhere. You know, for some of you, despite being a schoolboy, you would have seen him play at the under-17s Euros for England, where he showed his goal-scoring touch. He can play as a 10, play out wide, play up front. Very good in tight spaces. Good dribbler as well. He's just got an aura about him. I really got a lot of time for Miles as well and Ethan. I really like both of them. And obviously, when you're 16, turning 17, you can play everywhere and stuff. So there's a lot of development he needs to do. And it's not about ability. It's about application. You know, how high can you apply that ability and how long can you do it for? You know, because if he was to play Premier League football tomorrow for Arsenal and we've got Champions League on Tuesday and Saturday, there's no good being the best player on the pitch at Tuesday if you're terrible on the Saturday. And I think in this day and age where potential is the biggest buzzword, where if you're someone that's seen as a star at 16, if you're not quite there at 18, the same people that put you on a pedestal call you overrated. Let's see what happens. But again, not sign on the dotted line. Hopefully he commits to signing his scholarship, people. Again, it is somewhere. Where is it? The Athletic spoke on that. Because we're here, we might as well discuss it. He has committed his future to Arsenal. He has signed scholarship terms with Arsenal and agreed a deal for when he turns to get a pro deal of when he turns 17 in March of next year. His schoolboy registration was due to expire tomorrow, people. He did become our youngest Premier League player at 15, really. So lovely to see. Apparently he grew up in Islington, so he's a local lad. And, you know, he made his debut at under 18s level at 14. He's been in the England setup despite technically being a schoolboy. And I genuinely believe he's, you know, he will be an Arsenal first teamer, but it's down to him to go and get that. Again, I know some other people, best talent, you know what happens with these young players. Best talent since Jack Wilshere, Starboy, all of this. I don't doubt any of that. I just think the man's a good player. Let him develop. Leave the man alone, really. So, yeah, big up Ethan, man. Keen to see your development next year as well. And hopefully with the under-18s, we can go all the way and win the FA Youth Cup, having gone, you know, failed essentially at the final hurdle, really, where we got battered against West Ham. So, yeah, big him up. Away from that, though, once again, we've agreed a £105 million deal to sign Declan Rice. The transfer breaks down as an initial £100 million initial fee plus an extra £5 million in potential performance-based add-ons. The structure of the payments are still being discussed between the two clubs, but Rice is now free to discuss personal terms and look at having his medical. So progress, really and truly. It will smash our transfer record. Big up Declan Rice, really and truly. Again, we'll be going over the same things. No one gives a crap what Gary Neville thinks. Mikel Arteta eyes dream Kai Havertz partnership as Arsenal closing on £200 million rebuild. Apparently, Mikel Arteta likes Havertz's mentality and coping with the pressure and expectation from a young age while at Leverkusen, as well as scoring the winner for Chelsea in the Champions League final 2 years ago. Hopefully, he can do that for us. Another key part of his attraction was his age, as Mikel Arteta looks to make the squad even younger with the potential to grow, while he's also capable of playing as an 8 in midfield, as he showed at Leverkusen on occasion, as well as being versatile enough to play as a false 9 and part of the attack. Fair enough, really and truly. The Havertz deal was a surprise move because he has played as a striker for much of his time at Chelsea, but earlier in his career, he played as an attacking midfielder, and Arteta likes his vision and ability to pick passes all over the pitch. Arteta believes Havertz could even team up with Rice in midfield as part of a new duo to succeed Thomas Partey and XHAKA, who could both move on this summer. Arteta also believes that having developed Odegaard in the last 2 years, he could see similar results and improvement of Havertz. As Arsenal manager and technical director, Edu believes he is one of the most technical players in Europe. Fair enough. And we've seen already what they've had to say. So hopefully there is truth there. You know, obviously on the 28th, we heard that Arsenal agreed a deal over Declan Rice. So it's advanced since then. Moving away from all of that. What is this? Well, that's annoying. Thought we had something there. Despite what some outlets have been saying about Manchester United trying to enter the race and offering players and so on, I've personally never reported them in the Rice story because I've honestly always been told they were never in this deal. Of course not. Arteta and Edu deserve immense credit for the work they've done here, dating back to January in crucial hours when Man City submitted a bid. Arteta remained convinced about having Rice. He kept pushing on the player side, convincing him about the project and how it's perfect for Rice. Fair enough. Once again, we've agreed a deal. We're working out minor details on the structure. We've also been linked with Tchouameni. Apparently, we'll reignite our interest in Tchouameni if pursuits of Lavia and Caicedo fail. I'll leave that with you lot. Let me know you lot's thoughts. I would love Tchouameni, but these guys, you got to buy them at Bordeaux. He's just landed at Real Madrid. Arsenal have added Tchouameni to their list of transfer targets. We have been told, says Football Transfers, that if the Premier League outfit failed to sign either Brighton's Caicedo or Lavia, they will test the waters for the Real Madrid midfielder. Surely we'll just go for Monaco's Fofana, who we've been linked with. Arsenal are long-term admirers of the French international and now have set their sights on bringing him to the Emirates if they're unable to secure the services of the other two midfielders. I mean, it's silly season. You know, DiMarzio said Declan Rice was going to City. He might play for City one day, just not now. Anyone's just chatting nonsense. So we have to see. Obviously, it's been a testing time for Tchouameni at club and country. It's not always been rosy for him at Real Madrid. He obviously missed the penalty for France at the World Cup. He's going to have to develop. Apparently, Perez rates in people. Apparently, this article has said Perez sees the midfielder as the centerpiece of next season. He's told Ancelotti Tchouameni will need more minutes next campaign as part of a double pivot. Perez sees him as the next Casemiro and will certainly not accept anything less than the €100 million that Real Madrid paid Monaco last summer. And I mean, if I'm Real Madrid, I don't want to lose I don't want to lose the prospect of Valverde, Tchouameni, Jude Bellingham, and Camavinga. It's a myth, really and truly. So we'll have to see, really. I think this is just clickbait nonsense. But apparently, payment terms for the Declan Rice deal between Arsenal and West Ham expected to be resolved shortly. Smash the like button and let me know your thoughts. I'll pre the comments in just a second, people. Once again, allegedly, Ethan turned down more lucrative financial offers from elsewhere to stay at Arsenal. Boy, the England Youth International was raised a short distance from the Emirates. Big him up. Apparently, Partey is preparing for pre-season in an Arsenal top. And yeah, these are two top talents, man. And they're even better human beings, man. I know for a fact Ethan comes from a very both sporting and well-mannered family. Miles definitely the same. They're good individuals, let alone footballers. They're good people. Both have a willingness to learn. Both don't feed into egos and all of that sort of stuff. Allegedly, Real Madrid worked on a Havertz deal for months in silence and were waiting for the right deal to pounce. And their well-respected scout was involved. What I would say, whatever you have to say about Havertz, if he's consistently picked for his country, if Real Madrid wanted him, if Bayern Munich wanted him, clearly they weren't down to pay the money that was talked about. If Arteta wanted him in Arsenal, then there's got to be something in this lad. Chelsea actually wanted to give the man a new deal. He made it clear, I'm not signing a new deal and I want to cut. So, you know, give the man a chance, really and truly. Bro, is everyone back Is everyone back for preseason, or is this the next place? But nice to see Trossard, Saliba, Tomiyasu, and Martinelli preparing for the new season. We're going to need all the lads there. Dharma Sheffer said we'll continue to negotiate with West Ham today over the structure of the deal. People, once that's agreed, you know, Rice will sign off on personal terms and have his medical, and we're closer to getting to him. Talk Sport apologies. Has said Declan Rice has been given permission to undergo a medical at Arsenal. You know, we've been linked with Mickey van de Ven, which based on what I see in Bundesliga, he looks decent. And Spurs get him to go with Maddison. That's good business. Having brought in Timber and Kirio in the last two windows, I very much doubt that we're going to go for another centre-back, in my opinion. But I do think he's decent. He's quite quick. He's been linked with Arsenal and actually Napoli as well as Spurs. I think it's just clickbait there, but make of that what you will, people. Apparently, Nelson, you know, will be out of contract in 2 days. And apparently, AC Milan held talks with him over signing for them. But apparently, he's set to sign a new deal for Arsenal Football Club. So we'll have to see when official confirmation arises. Liverpool have been tipped to hijack our move for Lavia, people. We'll have to see. And as much as I like Lavia, he's only played 29 times in the Premier League. So he's good, but there's many things he needs to do better, people. Apparently, you know, a journalist out of Belgium, Sasha Chevaleria, said, what I can say is Liverpool are going ahead with the profile. They're still interested. You know, I want to try and get you on a vid as well. They're still interested and they have kept contact with the entourage of the player. They announced their intention to make an offer this summer. This is something quite concrete and huge. As I said in my tweet yesterday, there are contacts with Southampton that can really help on the deal. And apparently we've been, you know, he's got the same agent as Bukayo Saka and we've kept a close relationship with such. We'll have to see how it develops. We all know of City's buyback clause, so we'll have to monitor that. Manchester United have been linked with Caicedo in the last few hours, people, but apparently they're doubtful on Brighton's 100 million asking price. Can't blame them for wanting that when you've seen not even about the player, what Jude Bellingham's gone for, you know, what Declan Rice could go for, what Enzo Fernandez has gone for. They should be believed. They should believe that Caicedo is equally as an important asset. So we'll have to see. Apparently, documents are being prepared to be checked in relation to Declan Rice, or better yet, Arsenal and West Ham, and that will be done in the next 24 hours. Final green light on payment terms is expected soon. Here we go. Sounds a bit hypocritical there, but based on what we've read with Romano. But allegedly, positive talks continue between Arsenal and Ajax over the signing of Timber. One source has claimed the clubs are getting closer to an agreement on the price. The player's personal terms are not expected to be a problem, and crucially, he wants to join. Apparently, Romano has said we only have one target as a centre-back, and it's obviously Timber. We've submitted a 45/48 million euros bid, which is probably our second bid 3 days ago. There's optimism and confidence, people. This lad who I said, Mickey van de Ven, he's on Spurs' list and not ours. So we'll have to see really and truly how these develop. Arsenal will test the waters for Real Madrid midfielder Tchouameni if they fail to sign Caicedo or Lavia. So we'll have to see. And apparently West Ham are crazy. Apparently they want Tavares in a cut price deal after selling Declan Rice. Knock 16 million off because we need to make double our money and we'll allow you. Take him tomorrow. He'll get to stay in London at least. We've been linked with Diamande, who is linked for last summer before he went to Sporting Lisbon. Apparently, Arsenal, Newcastle and City are monitoring him, people, though he's not thought to be an urgent priority for these clubs. Sporting are likely to insist that his £68 million release clause is paid to let him go. Having only been there 2 minutes, that's a madness. And finally, apparently, our new kits have been released, people, which I will be getting them. I can't lie, Arsenal, we're doing us dirty. This away kit is crap. The third kit looks lit. Let me know your thoughts on that. That is apparently the away kit will be released on the 18th of July, which is a couple of weeks away. And on the 1st of August, our third kit will launch. This is wavy. That is horrible, Arsenal. But yeah, where transfer news is concerned, let me know your thoughts on everything discussed, folks. That is what we have to speak about there. Transfer news. I thought, let me get that out of the way, because when I cut it up and pull it on my channel so that some of you can watch a bite-sized version, there you have it. Sane and Mane, please, not Gnabry is okay. What else have we got? I left you lot hanging for a minute. Lokonga, I don't feel can command his position. I hear that as well. And again, with the players we've got at the club, it would be difficult for him. I just think maybe it's his playing style. I just think the game passes him by. He can play as 8. I've been spoiled as an Arsenal fan to see serious midfielders. I don't think Lokonga's of that ilk. Don't think he's mature enough to play as a 6. And I don't think he grabs the games by the balls. I mean, Company said he's the next Yaya Toure. Go over to Burnley and do a madness over there. Vieira needs a big preseason and some mass gainer, I can't lie. Tini over Zinchenko, I love his passion, but feel Tini is the better player. If necessary, play them both. Physical presence combined with already existing technical talent, and we can win it all. Newcastle City, for example, has that presence. We need to improve on that. Yeah, statistically, it's less than 1% of youth that make it as a first team. I was shocked when I heard that. It's the reality, man. I like you. You speak facts. You know much about football. I don't know about that, but I hope so. Are you live streaming some Football Manager later? Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. You can catch the rerun on Twitch, and they will be out on YouTube soon. But yeah, not today. State-owned clubs hold that. If there was a possibility to bring Kane in our squad, that would be massive, of course, but I can't see that. I don't get this Tierney hype. There's been plenty of times he has cost us goals with poor judgment. I mean, I'm a fan of Tierney and Zinchenko. I think there's games we need Tierney, and I'm more than happy to see Zinchenko play. I mean, we just read Arteta's comments. Well, I think we're all glad. Question to everyone: is Rice and potentially Lavia actually an upgrade on Partey and XHAKA? Difficult one for me. I don't think it's an upgrade, if I'm honest, based on the pairings. Rice is an upgrade on any of the midfielders, but yeah, and I'd love to see us deliver. We should look back into the Caicedo deal. That deal is being stalled for a reason. He's waiting. Maybe just, it's the calm before the storm. There are no more lucrative deals, apprenticeships, and scholars of fixed fees. No, they're not. I still think we should go for Milinkovic-Savic. And again, it's all about actually what he's going to get on that first pro deal as well, really. And it all depends on sell-on clauses. And these clubs will buy your dad a house and things like, I'm talking too tough. Big up Daniel. Lokonga is just crap. We can't win the league or Champions League with him as backup. Milinkovic-Savic is a good player, but I think the illusion is better than the reality. He's great, but I think people gas it a lot. Big up DG, Tchouameni on loan. Excuse my pronouns. Would love it, but I can't see it happening. Paul Torres to Villa. Emre's doing our madness. I still think we need a world-class striker. If we're able to do that, well in. Away kit looks good to me. I like the creativity. I don't. It looks like there's too much going on. West Ham really have no more leverage in the deal for Rice. Have to compromise. What they're going to do, tell Rice he can't go because of terms. They're probably just hashing out the makeup of the deal in terms of the structure. And then he's our man in it, really and truly. They've played a good game. They've got 105 million for a player with a year left. It's crazy. Nan said the people channel from the people, for the people should be called people. You're crazy, man. Thoughts on Odegaard playing XHAKA's role? I've been saying I'm waiting to see Odegaard play that 8 role. I know these people aren't watching Lazio. Why are you in the locker room, bro? Just waiting for Declan Rice to have his his medical. I want a modern, bold version of the 2010 away kit. I want us to remake. Could you imagine? You see the 04 kit with the away shirt with the. I know we've kind of done a remake of it, the yellow and blue. I'd love to see it kind of like this. That kit, for obvious reasons, as a 28-year-old. That kit's got a lot of fun memories for myself, people. Yo, DG, do you feel Arsenal should have attempted to sign Maddison as the price he went for is decent? However, we do have Fabio Vieira, who should be more influential in his second season. I'd love Maddison, but I just think 65 million for Havertz was never going to go do that. Odegaard at 8, Havertz at 10, and have them interchangeable. When you deep it, actually, to Tierney's overrated. Nah, is anything you slept on? Hella players are overrated, really. Within this football club, I think there's a certain Belgian winger who's one of them, even though I rock with him heavy. Still think we need a speed demon on the wing. Hopefully we can get the RB. I don't know about sus Chels. You know damn well you don't get girls, but pause on everything. I want to see him do his medical, and then obviously man, I do the handshakes and that. I know you're kidding. I ain't kidding though. You ain't seen pussy in your life now. It's all fun and games, man. You come for me, you go low, I go lower. Pause. Anyways. It's all banter and entertainment, man. Should make a modern copy of the double winning kit, Charlie George style, best days of my life. Big up Inner Circle, veteran, way before my time. But it would be lovely. Would be lovely to see, man. If Vieira has to stay, then he should only come on when we're ahead by 3 goals. Otherwise, I feel he's a liability. If he starts, it's like playing with 10 men. Harsh. I mean, who wouldn't want Harry Kane? I don't think unless you got Haaland, which City, rightly so. If I was a City fan, I'd be greedy. I don't think there's a single fan in Europe who wouldn't take Harry Kane. But it's not going to be the Sol Campbell settings, is it? Like, I'd love for it to happen. It's gone. And in fact, I would say return home, Harry Kane, because he was once an Arsenal Academy player. Funny how life works, isn't it, really? And it just shows fundamentally football is just ultimately a crazy game of opinions. I can't believe Paul Torres has signed for Aston Villa. A year ago, he rejected Spurs though, so big him up. Shout out Kendall, who's also a Newcastle fan. I only mentioned that because actually at 2 p.m, people, big up you lot, a video that we shot yesterday where we spoke about Declan Rice, Tonali, Maddison, and football in general, as well as Saudi Arabia, and that will be out at 2 p.m. So make sure you have a butchers of that and smash the like button on such. Kai and Deck could be enough depending on any outgoings. How can we go from the best kit ever to in the black to that away shirt this season? It's disgusting. Maybe should have held off on the pink one for this season and made that the away kit. Barella would be good, but I can't see it. Arteta do need to be given some love for what they've done so far. I agree. I like him, bro, but he's hella basic. Yeah, sometimes you just need an organic man, really. You know, I wish I could combine the two of them where you wish that Tierney could be switched on. No, Tierney could have a bit more glee and a bit more prestige in an attacking sense and a lot less one-dimensional. And you also wish that you could give Zinchenko Tierney's switched onness defensively. I like the both of them. If Tierney leaves, fair enough, do your thing. I think we need a left back. I know Tomiyasu and Kyrgios can go over there, but we need an out-and-out left back. Hey, you're moving mad. I'm just happy we're getting signings over the line. Kroenke is putting his money where his mouth is. I hear that. DG, you think we'll offer 85 to 90, we'll get Kane done? Maybe he's abroad, but not to Arsenal. What's all this Kane talk? Have I missed the memo? Tchouameni to Arsenal is unrealistic at the moment, but Timber, hope it gets done. I hear that. I honestly don't think XHAKA is going. I'd love to hold on to XHAKA and Partey for a year. I like Partey, but I always felt he should have done better many times this season. Bring Lavia or Caicedo. If you combine Tierney and Zinni, you'd have the best left back in the country. Caicedo is a mercenary, doesn't care, will go to, he pays him more. And to be fair with you, I can't blame him, bro. Can you blame him? Yeah, you don't really want, like, my man comes respectfully, Ecuador, he said he got 10 siblings, bro. Football's just a game that can provide him a way out of poverty and to never see that again. I can't blame a man for wanting to care about peace. You know, Arsenal rattled him. Chelsea have probably rattled him. Liverpool have probably rattled him. United have rattled. I can't begrudge him. You know, football's a job at the end of the day. If you can offer him money and Champions League and all these things, bro, football's a job. Do your thing. I don't know what that Don's on, but fair enough. Mal, you calm down a bit, man. 3 defenders or 4 defenders. Not sure what that means. Are you talking about a back 3 or a back 4? I'm not sure. But I'd prefer to play a back 4. I think a back 3 could be utilized in certain games on occasion. But yeah, I wouldn't actually go with that anyways at this moment in time. But yeah, it is what it is. If I'm really honest with you. So we'll have to see. I agree, DG. We need to keep XHAKA and Partey for 1 more year. Or at least both of them. Because for me, we're going in the Champions League, bro. If we sign Caicedo, I'll fuck with Caicedo, pardon my language. You played 40-odd times for Brighton. You played Champions League before. Obviously, Declan Rice has a lot of transferable experience. He might have actually played in Europe before for West Ham, but he just won a European competition, played over 200 times for West Ham, over 100 times in the Prem, played at a couple of tournaments for England, if I'm not mistaken. There's a wealth of experience there, but he's not rocked up in the Champions League. He's respectfully to West Ham. They've not dealt with the expectations that this football club has to deal with. They won more games in Europe in winning that cup than they won in the Prem. Fans, you know, if they wouldn't, you know what? I'm happy for David Moyes. It was lovely to see him and his dad the moment David Moyes got something to him, you know, to his name. He would have probably not been in a job if they didn't win that, you know. Obviously, I like Lavia 20-odd times in the league. These are inexperienced dons, you know, and they're learning on the job. You know, I'm not saying they can't do a job, but we're going into the Champions League. When has Declan Rice, Caicedo, and Lavia dealt with fighting for a league title? And I'm not saying that to criticize him, because I think out of the names I've said, Declan Rice is the most equipped. I'm just saying why I think we need to hold on to a XHAKA or a Partey. I think letting them both go would be suicide. Forgive me. If I'm honest, keep Partey and XHAKA for 1 more year, win the Premier League, FA Cup or Champions League and build from that. And I think what we've got to do is, like, for example, if XHAKA and Partey started as the first choice pivot, right, this season, let's just say the season starts now, and they're the first choice pivot. By May, you want them to become rotation options, just naturally demoting guys, if that makes sense. Kind of because the system went to a next level, you kind of saw Tini and Tomiyasu, I won't quite say become obsolete, but, well, more so in Tini's case, but become obsolete, really. I don't think sometimes we need to make first team regular squad players, because as much as it's about raising the levels, when there's injuries or fatigue or suspensions, it's about the level not dropping. Now, I don't rate Rob Holding. I like him, big him up for the FA Cup and all of these things. And I don't think I said it before and I'll say it again. I think there was evident shortcomings with Rob Holding. I think Arteta should have known what was going to happen, and we should have never got into that situation to rely on Holding. I do believe when he did play, he might have made mistakes, but he weren't as bad as people made out. I do believe whatever you feel about Rob Holding, we should have won those games or could have done a lot better. I definitely think against City, while again, you know what's going to happen against Haaland. He weren't the worst on the pitch. Unfortunately, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Now, Holding's probably the best of examples, because you either drop the line and don't play this high line and invite pressure, or you try and continue the high line. He gets in a foot race. He ain't got the athleticism at this level. He's in trouble. You know, Tini's an out-and-out left back, an organic left back of sorts. I like the fact that, you know, you want him to learn and develop and play new roles. But, you know, it's like asking a fish to climb a tree, really. The man's an organic left back. In the same way Zinchenko can improve defensively, he's never going to be a great defender per se. It's not him. He's actually probably not even a fullback. It's a byproduct of him just finding a role for himself, similar to Delph. So there are games where you want to see us find a way to mitigate against this, because as I said at the start, while I like the system that Arteta's got and the individual roles and how they tie in collectively, any time a system is reliant on one person, there's an issue. And again, if they can't raise us a level, just make sure we don't drop a level, which if Partey and XHAKA in theory are bench players, there's a certain sort of level. Tomiyasu, there's a level. Tini, there's a level. You know, I'm probably forcing it, but to be fair to Eddie and Nketiah, based on how you performed when Jesus weren't there, it was nothing to write home about per se, but there was a certain sort of level. So it all depends really and truly how you kind of look at it, essentially. So yeah, it's all about trophies, man. We spent peas. I'm with you, DG. Keep XHAKA and Partey. If one goes, we'll need another body. Fair enough. So, I just messed up my timestamps, people. 1 second. I might cut up this last segment we've been speaking, because I think you lot's questions have been and talking points have been amazing, getting the creative juices flowing. Keep XHAKA and Partey. Let's call it that. I wish we sold Holding and kept Mavropanos. Nah, Mavropanos was media as well, blood. Take the peas, keep it moving. Appreciate you, Richard. Hi, Deluded Gooner. How are you? Also, how is your family and friends? They're all great, man. You're intelligent, hardworking, quick IQ. I ain't no billionaire. I wish, Richard. I wish. One day, man. One day. I wish, man. Nice praise. Must say, really looking forward to the new season. Smash the likes. I think we all are, and I think fans deserve that of all clubs. A bit of optimism, really. Do you think we need to sign a lit striker to win the league? I think you need a striker that's going to get X amount of goals. City have that with Haaland. Liverpool had that with Salah. Spurs is more of an anomaly because it's beyond that. But whether it snows, it rains, Spurs are winning trophies, or not, never. Kane's got 30 goals. And to be fair, it's a bit harsh on Kane. You know, Haaland's the big bad bully. Nobody really has given Kane any sort of hype for them 30 league goals. No one really gives a crap anymore, essentially. We need someone that we can have assurances with. While players have shown in the last 2 years, as I've said before, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Odegaard, you know, in the last 2 years that they can get double figures. Saka's the only one I've seen do it 2 years in a row now. And I hope he does it a third. So I hope it can continue. Happy to see Champions League nights back at the carpet. Would you loan Vieira out this season? You know what? In January, if you're not playing enough, you might have to revisit that. That might have to be something to do. Almost at 200 likes, you lot are ridiculous. Arsenal are going to buy Mbappe, Bellingham, Haaland, Gavdal, Virgil van Dijk, Kevin De Bruyne, Messi, Ronaldo, Vinicius, and Neymar. Big up you, man. It's all about trophies now. I love this channel. Watch it at work most days. So much love to you. Simon, big praise, man. I appreciate that. Are you okay with Matt Turner as a backup keeper? Naturally, you want better if you could, but yeah, Turner's cool, man. We got many other options to introduce into the squad. I wonder how long Matt Turner is going to be at Arsenal, and I only say that because he seems to be a prominent figure in the USMNT. Anyways, US. You know, let's just say the US national team. I tried to do the acronym. I don't think it banged. USMNT. I think it is that. You know, at some point he's going to want first team football, and unless a miracle happens, I can't imagine you dislodge Ramsdale. And to be brutally honest with you, I don't want to see you in the Champions League. I don't want to see you in the Prem. Ramsdale's the first choice keeper. I don't really want to see you in the FA Cup because I want to win that. Fair enough. If you're playing some little teams, you can run that. League Cup, you could run that. And even that, if you're him, you're probably assured like anything from 1 to 5 games. So he's got a decision to make in the next 2 years, in theory. Big up LP. With no injuries, we would have won the league. Right now, I don't see how the signings change that, but they definitely make our starting 11 much stronger. I mean, you know, if Sir Alex Ferguson weren't cheating, maybe we could have kept our unbeaten record going. You know, maybe if we did certain things in the year, Leicester won the league. It's all ifs and buts, really. And injury, as I said, injuries happen. You're never gonna have a free run with injuries. I'll be real, ain't really concerned with backup keepers. They never really play like that. If he wants to leave, get another one. I hear that. Do you think if Napoli keep Osimhen this summer, we can go all out for him next summer and he'd be a right fit? If Arteta wants to go for a striker, why not? If they keep him, though, he'll cost you'd imagine they keep him. He's going to cost a pretty penny. Big up Tailwoods in the cut. Shout my YouTube members. Opinions on the Arsenal away kit? I think out of the third kit, the away kit, and the home kit, I think that's the meatiest. I think that's the poorest. I personally think the green-looking kit, which allegedly is our third kit, you might as well make that our away kit. That horrible-looking green thing, it looks like a high-vis jacket, should be our away, should be our third kit. I can't lie, it just screams L's. It just screams L's in that kit. It just screams FA Cup going out on a plastic pitch and getting ripped, really. I'm still going to buy it, though. I'm a hypocrite. I know. It will grow on me as it does. Pause. Do you agree that they should only be going for Tchouameni if they can't get Lavia? Get all of them, man. If you want to go after Tchouameni, Lavia, you know, the Fofana brother from Monaco, do what you need to do. Tierney plus cash swap for Theo Hernandez, would you do it? He's a good player, but, you know, it depends on the cash. Feels like we're being shortchanged, if I'm completely honest with you. Really does feel like such. So we'd have to monitor that one closely. On that note, though, people, it's been 1 hour and 21 minutes. I'm not going to lie. My belly is growling. It's time to go eat some food. I appreciate you lot for giving up your time wherever you lot are. You know, as usual, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, of course, good night. Appreciate your talking points. I'm going to put the timestamps into this video at the end, and I'm going to cut up the transfer news bit so that, yeah, you lot are, you know, obviously get that. Hey, we need to speak Declan Rice. We need to speak Declan Rice and the rest of it. But yeah, I appreciate you lot, man. I appreciate that. It's time to get some lunch and cool off, man. You lot stay blessed, stay safe. Check out the rest of the content. A video should have come out at 2 p.m. One love. In fact, hey, Teeny, you might.
Against this right back, Charlie.
Overlap. I ain't passing to you, other guys. Shut up. Close. Knee slides.
You always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like you always use that active red light defenders. I think